In a year of staying at home, Netflix came through with plenty of content to keep the bad thoughts at bay. Some great, and some terrible. But let's try to stay positive in this new year and focus on the good stuff. I'm Will for What Culture, and here are the 10 best Netflix original movies of 2020. 10. Extraction. Extraction pulled in some insane viewership numbers back during its original release window, and overall, it ended up being one of the most watched original movies of any streaming platform in 2020. Considering that the movie sold itself on the promise of polished action sequences and blockbuster thrills at a time when those were lacking due to the widespread closure of cinemas, its popularity isn't surprising. And while Extraction isn't a great movie, it doesn't half deliver in the spectacle department. Despite its narrative shortcomings, Extraction is fun, thrilling, and easy to switch your brain off to, which, after the year we all had, is a trait that's more than welcome. 9. Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. For Will Ferrell, Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga couldn't have come at a better time. It's the best Ferrell comedy in years, throwing the goofiness of Zoolander and the big heart of Daddy's Home into a hilarious story about an underdog Icelandic duo navigating the iconic titular music competition. Ferrell isn't trying to win any awards here, and he fully embraces the silliness of the real-life contest to great effect. The costumes are flamboyant, the songs are ridiculous, and there's even a small subplot about some Icelandic elves that end up murdering one of the story's corporate villains. Seriously. 8. Enola Holmes. Enola Holmes was a very important movie for Millie Bobby Brown. It was her chance to prove that she can be a proper movie star, and she can lead her own film franchise. Thankfully, Brown rose to the challenge. She is delightful as the young Miss Holmes, as cocky and confident as you'd expect from someone who grew up alongside Sherlock and Mycroft, but with a more sensitive side that makes her feel like an actual human being with worries and doubts, not just another unrelatable, detached, hyper-intelligent detective like her two older brothers. While the movie isn't perfect, the resolution to its central mystery is annoyingly underwhelming, it will leave you wanting more, as any well-made film will do. 7. I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Anyone who's familiar with writer-director Charlie Kaufman's previous film work will know what to expect when going into his movies. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is completely and utterly bizarre, and while this makes it a tricky one to actually recommend, those who've already bought into Kaufman's style will be able to see the touching story about a troubled relationship that lurks beneath the film's surreal veneer. Whether you hate it or you love it, it's one of those movies that you won't be able to stop thinking about, marrying style and substance together in a thought-provoking package that only Charlie Kaufman could create. 6. The Social Dilemma. One of the most underrated weapons in Netflix's arsenal is its strong lineup of documentary movies. The latest entry in this category, The Social Dilemma, is a must-watch look at the way platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram can manipulate our behavior and affect our mental health. The movie brings in social media experts to explore the ways that these companies gather our data, and then use this data to get us to spend more time on their services. It's disturbing, interesting, and above all else, eye-opening. If you regularly use social media, this movie will definitely make you think twice about your online habits. The movie has a few scripted elements which aren't as good as the pure documentary stuff, but it's still great, and well worth watching in today's age. 5. Da 5 Bloods. Coming off the heels of his Oscar success with the brilliant Black Klansman, Spike Lee has delivered arguably his most impactful film to date, with war drama Da 5 Bloods. A harrowing tale about a group of Vietnam veterans who return to the country in search of the remains of their fallen squad leader, along with a hidden treasure. With some stunning camera work that captures the lush jungles like they're an all-consuming maze surrounding our characters, and a series of magnificent performances from the cast, including the late Chadwick Boseman, Da 5 Bloods is another winner that proves, yet again, why Spike Lee is one of the best in the game. 4. Mank. Mank is a rare movie in that it actually lived up to its hype. It's something of a passion project for director David Fincher, and that love and care is evident in the end result, which is a meticulously crafted, sharply written peek behind the curtain of the movie that, for many, is the greatest in cinema history, Citizen Kane. Mank definitely isn't for everyone. Well done though it is, the period-accurate look and sound will prove to be insurmountable for some. But Gary Oldman's powerful performance as Citizen Kane's screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz is one of the best of the year. And those who appreciate the film's impressive craftsmanship will find this an immersive and highly entertaining trip into Hollywood history. 3. His House. It's a shame that more people aren't talking about His House, and it's actually quite remarkable that it's managed to slip under the radar for most people, considering it snagged that rare 100% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The horror movie follows a couple who end up in England after escaping the violence and destruction in their South Sudan home. Soon after, they're assigned to a messy, run-down house in a poor area of London, and while it seems like a normal enough place when they first arrive, it soon becomes apparent that an evil, ghostly presence is lurking within the walls of their new home. His House feels a bit like a Jordan Peele social thriller, which is high praise, but it more than earns it. It explores the refugee experience through a horror movie lens, and while it does lean a little heavily into supernatural territory at times, it's an unsettling film overall, one that's packed with some memorable and creative scares. 2. The Trial of the Chicago 7. The Social Network's screenwriter Aaron Sorkin took to the director's chair with The Trial of the Chicago 7, and blew it out of the water with this transfixing courtroom drama, one that's based on the true story of the legal proceedings that arose from the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. As you'd expect from a Sorkin script, the story is tight, engaging, and wonderfully paced, bouncing from courtroom scene to courtroom scene and stopping for not a single bland moment. Sorkin's ensemble cast is also on top form, with everyone bringing their A-game to match the brilliant writing. The whole package is riveting, and without a doubt, we will be seeing The Trial of the Chicago 7 at the 2021 Oscars. Of course, that is assuming they actually go ahead. 1. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a strange film that probably shouldn't work as well as it does. About 20 minutes in, it becomes apparent that there really isn't much of a story here, not in the traditional sense at least. Rather, the film puts a bunch of characters in a couple of rooms and lets them talk. And while that might sound dull on paper, the acting is so powerful and the film is so brief, the credits roll at just 85 minutes, that the whole thing ends up working beautifully. The cast is superb, but it's Viola Davis as the feisty Ma Rainey and Chadwick Boseman as her blues band's rebellious trumpet player that really makes this movie pop. Elsewhere, the 1920s Chicago setting is impeccably recreated, and there's a moment towards the end of the film that will leave your jaw dropped for a few good minutes. Even if you just want to catch one of Boseman's final films, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a movie you should not miss. And there you have it folks, the 10 best Netflix original movies of 2020. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at YouSlideDowU. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.